Okay, very good. So now we are live, okay? This is Management 402. Thank you. Okay, project management. So we are reviewing the differences between general operation manager and project management. It's definite, it's unique, it's got specific characteristics. Okay, so we were answering some questions like why project fails. Please, can you remind us why do project fail? Why?
Pardon me?
Why do projects fail? Reasons why a project fails. You can check the notes.
Well, I actually know it's in my head. It's in my head.
Okay.
When communication is off between the end user and the project manager, where they're not on the same page, that they're not trying to achieve the same goal, that's the reason why a project might fail. And the costs might be too much.
Okay, so now we are giving like a concrete reason, okay? When he's talking about user, end user is a fancy way of calling your client. If I'm a project manager, okay, and I've been hired by this company and by my client, it doesn't matter if I'm talking directly only with the general operational manager or if I'm talking with the CEO, okay, that company that hires me, that could be the end user. They have some needs, they tell me what their needs are, and I will, okay, manage how those needs are done. So there is a miscommunication there, okay, and cost. So money, okay, cost management. Many of the projects go over budget, it costs far too much. Another reason.
Another reason that projects aren't clearly defined. The scope of the project, and they don't define their needs or what they're trying to accomplish.
Okay,
not the definition.
It's not well organized. It's not. It's very complex. We will see. Okay, so the teams, different teams, they don't really have a definite
accomplishment or end goal.
Okay, the goals are not well defined. Oh, we have to do that, but how and when and how? Yes. So scope management fails. Cost management fails, and another one that is very important. Can you think of one?
I would say the end result, when you have to plan everything and then the end result is not what you.
Okay.
It was not what was planned from the beginning.
And why? And maybe quality. So we're talking about quality. So cost, time. The next one that I just said. Time management. Think about a big project that is going on nowadays here in Hawaii. Can you tell me? The rail. Everybody talks about the rail, and it doesn't mean that it's going to totally fail, but definitely right now, so I have close people that are working on the rail, and they have project managers from the mainland, okay, a lot of contractors from the mainland for different type of teams. It's very complex, and they're making sure that the quality, because we are talking about safety, public transportation, quality is on the top, but problems that they are having is cost. It's like costing much more money than expected over and over, and time management. That's for sure that those are struggles that they are already having, and the project is not even halfway done. Okay, very good. That's reasons why project fails. So let's see. Why don't we check some of the characteristics of a great project manager? Okay. Can you mention a couple?
Communication skills.
Communications, a great communicator. Okay, what else? Don't look at yes, let's try to think. Don't look at the screen. Let's try to think.
Problem solving.
Okay, problem solver, very good. What else?
Leadership.
Okay, so if you have been with me in other classes or you know already from your own experience, uh, a good leader is not just a good boss, okay? It's somebody who is able to oversee the big picture and then knows as well how to delegate and believes in teams. Okay, and there are different type of leadership. So a good leader, communicator, problem solver. Another one. What else could you say, please?
Well, we touched on communication skills, a good planner, I would say also, innovative.
Okay.
Always new ideas, always, well,
When we talk about innovative, maybe it's like it's good at solving problems and
Well,
delegating.
I would
No?
say innovative in the fact that
Yes.
he can take an old problem and learn how to use new technologies, new things to incorporate into the project. Whereas status quo project manager would try to stay to the basic template the way it's always been done. So I would say,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, look, what you are talking, we can see that on our slides. So if we go into the handouts I provided, okay. So right at the very end of the PowerPoint slides, there is one of done by New Horizons Project Management. And what I like, it's like project failure at the very end. Look, here, yes, very good. Okay, this one. So page 2 of this PowerPoint is like the standards report. When they say is that 17, there is a 75 success rate for projects that are implement those like new technologies and modern project management concepts, tools and techniques. And one of the like skills that we were checking on the YouTube link, it was like they can use the technology, okay, and use the technology for human resources, for planning, okay,
Okay.
for scheduling, and that can be
A
very
point that I
helpful.
say, like every once in a while, I'll go to a nightclub and they're
Yes.
really quiet, really crowded, and they may have 300 or 400 people in there, and you order a drink and it takes you 45 minutes to get a drink. When if they use technology, the waitress, this technology's been out for years, but hardly anybody uses it, where your waitresses could order the drinks the minute they get them, and by the time you get to the bar, they get back to the bar, their drinks are already waiting for them on the tray. So they're just going to get it, but they don't use that technology, you know.
Then you can put it on your
where
table, right?
They are like a
Do
tablet,
you-
they have a tablet right there.
Where I used to work, they use smartphones.
Yeah,
They punch in the orders and then they walk back there. Within 20 minutes, the order is ready.
For food,
Smartphones
with food.
for food and drinks.
And the drinks should take less time,
Yeah,
even
less
less time.
yes.
Okay, so
Because you have
that's,
the time
Instead of
on it.
waiting for your drinks, waiting 15, 20, 25 minutes for a drink in a nightclub, it should only take 5 minutes. From the time she walks back there to get it and walks back and pays for it, she can make a run. You know what I mean?
perfect, yeah.
Yeah, so that's how a lot of people aren't using technology, and it's costing them thousands of dollars a night.
Yeah, totally. People
Well,
get
Or basically, what you're saying is true, but where I used to work, if they didn't use it, people be waiting for 2 hours for a meal.
so look at that. When you please can you read this like project failure, the standards report, only 32.
Only 32% of projects worldwide are succeeding in achieving budget, schedule, and quality objectives of the project. there is 75% success rate for projects and employment, modern project management concepts, tools, and techniques.
Okay, projects worldwide, only 32 are succeeding in achieving everything, okay? Like cost, so the budget, time, schedule, and quality objectives, like the three main. Okay, to get like a quality project, we have like that triangle that we went over, remember, which is cost, time, in a timely manner. So you have a beginning and then and you know when specifically, and the scopes, and then you get a good quality project. Only 32 are achieving that. That's very low. That gives us like 70%, almost, okay, 68% are failing somehow, okay, in one aspect or the other. All right. Look at that CIO.com size dynamic market survey of 880 managers. 62% of IT projects fail to meet their time, the schedules. 49 suffer budget overruns. 25% of all IT projects get canceled before completion. And that's very common as well. Sometimes, and this is like one of the main of the project managers, if you are like running over too many projects, it's better to stop.
Yeah.
And then they hire another project manager or
But
something.
see, isn't that
Sad.
the reasons, because they didn't adequately fund the project in the first place? A lot of people try to do things on the cheap. For prime example, I talked to a friend about buying a property.
Mhm.
And I said, this would be a good property to buy, but I said, would you buy it for $1.5 million, $2 million, and then put another $1 million in it? He was saying, no, you don't want to buy it, you don't want to put anything in the property when you buy it, unless you're trying to flip it. And I'm saying, well, people are spending thousands of dollars on maintenance on a property that if they remodeled it, they wouldn't have to spend that much on maintenance. So they're really trying to patch up something piecemeal, and it ends up eating into their profit, and they don't understand why it's kind of like a losing proposition to own that property.
From the
Because
very beginning.
from the very beginning, if they had said, well, look, we're buying it for $2 million, we're gonna put $1 million in it to modify the project. So I was thinking, no, I don't think I wanna go into business with him, because if I go into business with him, he's gonna wanna do everything on the cheap to try to just skim the little $2 or $3 or $4 million, $1,000 off the top every month, and then the property is just gonna deteriorate.
Something that we are going to see today, actually, like when we go through those 5 phases, okay, I'm going to use the hand of Mr. Oliver. He used this hand for like defining a 5-paragraph essay. We are going to use this, okay, on project management phases. So many of the projects are failed from our side, okay, that would be the initiating process. Right at the very beginning, just even before, when you are like actually planning and monitoring, that would be like here, the core, okay, of the management, okay. The initiating, it's fundamental. Choosing as well who is going to be your team, making sure that you know, you get a summary of the user requirements, okay, what is acceptable, what is not, and you have to know as well what are your resources. That's super important. Yeah? And building up the team, the project management team. So all of that initiating phases, even before you accept the project and then you get into the project master plan. A lot of people are trying to go too fast, and then they overestimate certain things. And if it starts badly from the very beginning, trust me, they are going to
If it starts bad, it's gonna end bad.
encountering it. And when we talk about project management, we are talking usually about millions and millions of dollars, like a big projects, okay? In class, I have we have a couple of texts from Market Leader, and another one that it's real cases, okay, of, for instance, a case of a project management company that overtakes another one that they failed. Actually, the first project management company decided to step out, and now they are like on second phase, and they're handling a lot of problems, and how can they solve those problems that are already there. Okay, very good, guys. I think that we have a nice sum up. I'm going summary. I want to
Now, what was that section was the failures of the, how did you word that, so I can put it in the notes?
why the project fail. So I want to see, okay, a couple of pictures. This is like, could you please switch off this light so everybody can see something? Can you see better? All right. All right. So those are parts of like last week, the beginning, the middle, the end, okay, initiating process, closer, and in the middle, there could be the other three phases that we're going to check. The project is unique, it's new, and you don't want to overload your own staff. You want to hire the project manager because she has got the expertise and knowledge and the contacts. They have the purchasing power. They have as well the accounting power. They have been dealing with this type of specific problems by their own for years, and it's that type of experience. Okay, not only knowledge but experience. You might not have it. So here, I like this one when you see PM. Okay, project manager. She is working hand in hand with the end user, with the client. And today you are going to explain what is that, what is the end user, okay? He works directly with the CEO, with the general operational manager. So this project manager is working with the staff, with the teams, okay, of that company, but as well with external contractors, all right? So she is a person that is able to overseeing that big picture and as well going into detail. It's going to tell you what it needs to be done, but it's not micromanaging. It's impossible when it gets like that. I want to remember, guys, a little bit, we were doing some listenings that were quite interesting about Michael Sawyer and then Bob, and they were like talking about characteristics of a good project manager. This is on page 106. So can you read some of them? Number one, we're on 12.1. Yeah, number one, has good
communication skills, clarifies people's roles on the team, knows how to organize and motivate people, avoids acting like a boss.
So basically what they were saying is like it's more like a coordinator, okay? So it's not like, it is not what the project manager says goes. No, it's like more like the guy, the coordinator. Very good. And that one of the reasons why, one of the biggest problems of a project team is that there is a lack of clearly defined objectives for the project. Everybody has to be motivated and has to know, okay, this is in the end result, but what are my objectives of my team? Defined A, B, C, D. It is important to have set those goals, and then your team will get to know how to do that. But you know what your objectives are. The project manager is not telling you exactly how you are going to do that. No, she is going to tell you, okay, this needs to be done, and you manage that yourself. But it has to be very well defined.
So basically, what it comes down to is like the building they're putting up where I work.
Yes.
The workers actually have to be able to read the blueprint, and they have to figure out what to do And if they got questions, they ask the project manager.
But they have to find out by
I mean, they
themselves.
actually have to be able to read the blueprint and figure out how to do their job.
By
That
themselves.
makes sense.
Yes, and if they got questions, then they ask the project manager
Okay, but the project manager is not telling them.
what to do. but-
She is not telling you how you have to do it this way. It's not like they're not kids, right? You are not supposed to be. You know how delegation. To know how to delegate is important. To build trust as well, because people. It's kind of hard. I was like reading a couple of articles of like complaints, basically, of project managers. Okay, it's like people don't trust them. It's like, oh, you don't know what's going on in this company. We have been running this company for 20 years, and now you are coming here and want to change everything, and telling us A and B and C, and many times that project manager is not necessarily the most senior, okay, team. Somebody younger, maybe more innovative and wanted to change, and they don't want that. They want to know what I need to do,
What
and
I
I'm
found out
going
was-
to manage.
What I found out, people are actually, you don't get hired on a construction job if you cannot read a blueprint.
Makes sense.
I mean, if you're gonna weld something and you don't know how to read a blueprint, you're in trouble.
Okay, yes.
The characteristics of a good leader is getting people to do things they don't want to do voluntarily.
That's it. That's the world.
That's-
You gotta motivate them.
You're gonna motivate them to do.
Yes, you got.
People don't like change. It's just the way it is. We've been doing this for 20 years. Now you're gonna come and change. Now I have to motivate you into doing it this way. I understand the way that you do it. We brought new technologies in. It's gonna help your job. You want help on your job, right? You don't want to do it the old way.
Yeah.
Be easier to do it this way. And that's you wording to get people to change, to do it better. So that's one of the characteristics.
Yeah. Very good. Could you keep on reading number 5, please? We're here on 12.1, number 5, I think.
Includes members of the team in decisions,
Yes.
knows how to delegate work,
Good.
can deal with many tasks at the same time.
It could be this multitasking. Okay, so they have to be constantly with their email and their phone 24/7. Usually projects because they have like an end, like a due date, right, and time. They have to try to maintain to be on schedule, and it's very intensive. The project managers that I know, I personally know, like I know very, very well to project managers. And usually they work like, especially one girl, that she comes to Hawaii once or twice a year. And she's from New York. And she works on project management. And well, she doesn't have a family. Her kids are old. And when she's working 24/7. And then she takes like 3 months off. And it's the way her life runs, like working non-stop 6 months, and then 3 months on herself, no job, traveling to Hawaii or to Europe or doing something else, and then she goes back into project management because it's super, super intense, especially construction. Any project is hard, but construction is very demanding. Okay, number 7. That was like multitasking. Number 8,
Is able to take a global view of the project,
okay, it's able to stand back. Okay, the big picture we were talking. Number 9,
ensures everyone is clear about
okay, very good, guys. So why don't we go with this of like the glossary? What does CSOW stand for? What is that?
Stands for contract statement of work.
Okay, so who is involved? Now that we know what the goals of the project is, to stay on budget, schedule, performance requirements, so we need to have quality, okay, beginning, ending, very good. And then contract statement of work. Okay, can you explain that to me,
Uh,
to us a little bit more?
It basically, it's expected performance of the project in terms of scope, work, requirements, end result, and schedule and cost. So it's just pretty much the outline of what you're gonna be doing, taking care of.
Okay, it's like on the very initiation, right? They say here that the project manager presents to the end user. Who is the end user?
The person financing the building.
Well, it can be the CEO, for instance, of the company, or the person who's in charge, or your client. It can be as well, could be the general operational manager or whoever's in charge who's giving you like, yeah, okay. A letter of interest, a formal proposal. All right, very good. End result, schedules and costs. So we are talking about again the triangle. I'm a very visual person, learner, and all right. So now, what is like user requirement? Summary of user requirement. So that's related to two factors, right? Of the priority and margin. Can you explain us what is summary of user requirement? That was you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Want me to explain it?
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I got out of it. Summary of user requirements. They are the starting point of all projects, design activities or functions.
First of all, who writes that?
The user requirements are written by the person who wants the project, not the project manager.
Okay, the client.
The client. Or
Very
the
good.
client.
All right.
Okay, and each of these requirements affect the end result, scope, and the complexity, and in turn, these requirements affect the time, cost, and the risk of the project. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say is, if you have to meet these qualities, because if you don't meet these points, you're liable to have trouble with your time management, your cost, and not adequately assess the risk of the project.
Okay, can you explain that? Because I'm going to use like in easier words. What would it be? Summary of user requirement. This is the client, and the client deals with an issue, a problem.
Yeah.
I need to. This has to be done.
Yeah.
And what is my priority? My priority,
Yeah,
the high
yeah.
priority, medium
that's-
priority, low
yeah.
priority, and what is the margin that
Well,
I'm
that's-
okay?
I was gonna get to there.
Very good.
But I was gonna get to there. So then, is what is needed, not how it will be done. So, but the two factors associated with user requirements are the priority level and a margin. So, the priority level is which we would call the high, low, and the medium.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then we go to the margin is like say, how many rooms do we want? How many is the tolerances of the project or the specifications of the project that are required, or what they consider the margin.
For instance, it's like the maximum. We need to build that these robots. For instance, we're having problems with this new type of robots, and the way should be like that.
Yeah.
It's
Or
like, but the
I would-
margin, it can go a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
right?
the tolerance, but like I would say, if I wanted to build an amphitheater, I would say, I want 5,000 seats.
Okay.
I don't want 3,000, I don't want 10,000, I want 5,000. But in your design, we're gonna give you a tolerance of maybe 10%.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe because it's like it's
yeah.
more ergonomic,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
it's better for the flow of the people when
Yeah, the
walking
flow, or the way they
through.
can see, so we're gonna give you a tolerance of 10%.
Okay, all right,
And
very
so-
good.
So that's,
That would be the margin. Very
Yeah.
good. So they actually need to tell the manager, this is what I need. And not specifically how it's going to be done. Sometimes they might need some help from the project manager, right? Telling them, okay, I don't really know how to define these requirements. May you help me? And the project manager can help him, can help her on
Or
that.
like you said,
Yes.
the project manager might come to you and say, well, look, our architect says it would be more cost effective instead of going with 10,000 if we go with 1250, and then that way we can have a better sight line and all that and this and that, whatever.
Okay.
You know, and that's how I'm looking at it, you know, tell us more cost effective if we go up a little bit, the amount of people, even though you specified you wanted 10,000. If we go to 1,200, we can be more cost effective for us to do it this way, and our construction costs would go down per square foot and all that.
Yeah, you can simplify it as you're gonna get a tune-up in your car.
Yeah.
The CSO is the list of things
Yeah.
on your car.
Yeah.
Your tolerance
Yeah.
is, I don't want this oil, I want this oil,
Yeah.
because it's too expensive for me to get that oil.
Yeah.
So what is the tolerance for this specific vehicle? Oh, well, we can do this, we can do this.
Or we
Change
can
the
use
tires.
Quaker instead of,
We can use the tires, it can be all weather, or we get specific tires. But the end result is the person with the vehicle.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna tell you how to change the tire, change the oil in the car, because I'm the end user.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask requests, how do you
yeah,
do
you're
this
gonna
stuff?
ask me, yeah.
You're the professional, you're the project manager.
Yeah.
You're the,
Very good. Good. Who got the RFP? What does that stand for? It was you?
No, I have the project charter.
Anybody had the RFP? Okay, you?
they gave it to me, but,
Okay, but
Oh, who did this, the cost, the CSOU?
that was me.
Okay.
yeah. So, well, this is like basically the request for the proposal. This is done by the senior manager, okay, and gives them authorization to start with the planning. Without that, you cannot really start like getting the plans, schedules, the budgets be prepared, basically. So for you to have that, you have to have like an agreement between like three main members, okay? The project manager itself, the senior manager, and functional manager. Sometimes senior manager and functional manager can be defined by the general operational manager. Sometimes it's only two members, okay? So you have your client, the CEO, they get the summary of user requirements, I need this. The project manager says, okay, I'm on board, I think that we can deal with that. And then they have to reach an agreement on two things. Before you actually start preparing that RFP, before you start preparing that, you need to agree on two things: the scope of the project and what are the resources out there. And that get us into what it could be that project charter. You?
So what I put for the project charter is that it's
Yeah.
the post-project idea, post-hiring of the project manager.
Uh-huh.
It outlines the already agreed upon expectations and end results. Gets the project manager, senior manager, and functional manager all on agreement moving forward towards the scope of the project.
Okay, very good. All right. Sometimes, as I'm saying, is they don't have like three main members of the senior manager and functional manager. Can be by the general operational manager. That's going to depend on the company, but for sure you have the project manager there, and then they have to agree on that before you go into this like project master plan. Okay, and that's related to that planning process. You need to know what has to be done, how, who, and the order, and when is the end date, the due date. So can you tell us a little bit, what is the project master plan?
Basically, the project master plan is knowing the functional areas of the problem that a business has to solve. If your business is growing, it means you need someplace bigger. So basically, you gotta know the process. What you need another area to build another manufacturing facility. And you need renovation. And yeah, you need to know all these things. You need, before you call in a project manager, because that's the things you're gonna need. Then if you don't actually have a blueprint, a project manager is someone who will come up with a blueprint and say, hey, this is what I can do, and this is what I'm gonna need resources-wise and materials. And this plan has to be the scope of the owner, the manager, the general manager, and the project manager. They have to agree that this is the plan we can follow. Or else they're gonna look for another project manager with another master plan if they don't like the plan.
Yeah, but the project master plan is defined by the end user or by the project manager?
Basically it's an interpretation because I can tell you what I need, and you can make a blueprint. I can make the blueprint as the project manager. And if you don't like the blueprint, he says, this is not what I wanted, then I gotta do it again till you're satisfied and you think the cost can be acceptable.
Correct, but this is not just done by the end user. So the end user gets what he needs, what her company needs, for instance, in that summary of user requirements. And then they go through that project charter, they agree on the scope of the project, on the resources, and then they build a kind of a team. So the project manager is building a project team that can involve, of course, as you are saying, of course, the CEO of the company, okay, the general user manager, and maybe functional managers of different departments. This department and this department and this department needs to, all of them need to be on board, okay? And it's like kind of like a big summary of what it needs to be done, what we need to plan, right? It could be like the overall plan. And from there, you are going to go more into detail. It could be like the master plan or a summary plan. It's called as well project summary plan. So it's not just only done by the end user. They have to agree. In this phase of the initiation phase, I was telling you we have like the hand, okay. This one, the initiation, it's even before you start with the actual planning and the scheduling and monitoring the
So
project.
What do you call
That
it? The
could be
hand is
here.
the phases of what? Do you have up there phases
Of a project management
The phases.
project of a project.
The phases of a project. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Okay, that's it. The hand.
The phases of a project.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So the master plan is, that's at the beginning. Once we got everything we need to do, master plan that goes out to everybody, this is what we're gonna be doing. And in that master plan is everybody's role.
Yes, it's like the initiation phase, project master plan on the initiation. We're going to go in detail how does it work. But before this, you need the agreement, the main agreement. We need to agree on resources, how much money we need, how much time, what are the human resources we have, or the scope of the project, okay, the qualities that we need. They agree on that, and then they start as a team, they form the team. Who is our team? Who are going to be our team members? Who are going to be the people that we contract outside of our company, okay? So that's why it's like the power of purchasing power, accounting, administration, using technology. Who are the teams? Who are the human resources? So they are setting up the team, and that answers should answer what needs to be done, how are we going to do it, who's doing what.
What
This team is
resources are
doing this.
necessary?
Resources, of course. What is the order? What needs to be done first? Yes, and when it has to be done. In what order, basically. Once they put, okay, this is going to be like the big picture, a summary. So at this point, it's not everything like into the detail, but this is part of the initiation process.
So that's
Okay?
the PMI, right? The hand is the PMI. I just Googled some of it. The PMI, Project Management Institute.
But the institute, it's going to give you tools, and it's going to talk about ethics. So now we're going to take a little break, and we will go into the discussion about the ethics. Okay, it defines what are the ethics of a good project manager, and PMI may define those phases, but there is like a link I want you to check. We're going to check online about these phases, and then after, I want to go back into my lovely book, Market Leader. So they have a lot of them have got like really awesome, because this is from Great Britain, from London, and we're going to get to see 2 interviews, okay, about project sponsors, some parts of like the team members of the project, and talking about the success, what would it be like, again, a good project management, and okay, we'll check like actually there are two interviews that we're going to check, and another one to fill in the gaps. Okay guys, so let's take a break now.